My son looked me straight in the eyes and said something I never imagined hearing from my own child. "From now on, your paycheck goes into my account. You do not need anything anyway." I could have argued. I could have shouted. Instead, I smiled and quietly agreed. He thought he had won. His wife smiled with satisfaction as they left my house. They had no idea that by the time they returned for their usual free dinner that evening, everything they believed about me and my future would be turned upside down. What they saw when they walked through my front door made them scream in shock. Stay until the end, because one quiet decision changed an entire family forever. Means weakness. I learned that lesson the hard way. I worked for more than 40 years. Every paycheck represented early mornings, late nights, missed birthdays, and countless sacrifices. I never complained because I believed I was building a better future for my family. My wife passed away several years ago, and after that my son became the closest person in my life. I wanted to help him in every possible way. When he married Emily, I welcomed her as my own daughter. They were struggling financially, and I understood how difficult the first years of marriage could be. I paid for groceries more times than I could count. I covered unexpected bills. Every Sunday they came to my house for dinner and left with containers full of homemade food. I never asked for anything in return. Slowly, I noticed something changing. My son stopped asking for help politely. Instead, he started expecting it. If I hesitated, he reminded me that parents should always sacrifice for their children. Emily agreed with every word. She often joked that I had nothing better to spend money on because I was old and lived alone. Those jokes stopped being funny after a while. One afternoon, my son came to visit without calling. He sat at my kitchen table and spoke as though he had already made a decision for both of us. "Dad, from now on, your paycheck goes into my account. You do not need anything anyway. I will manage your money better than you can." For a moment, I thought he was joking. He was not. Emily smiled proudly beside him. They explained that I was getting older and should let younger people handle finances. They even called it responsible planning. Inside, I felt my heart break, not because of the money, because my own son no longer saw me as a father. He saw me as an income source. I looked at him quietly and simply said, "All right." His face lit up with victory. They thanked me quickly before reminding me they would be back that evening for dinner. After they left, I made one phone call. The first call was to my bank. I arranged for my paycheck to be deposited into a brand new account that only I could access. The second call was to my lawyer. Months earlier, we had discussed updating my estate plan, but I never finished the paperwork because I hoped my family would appreciate me without conditions. That hope disappeared that afternoon. The lawyer came over within an hour. We reviewed every document carefully. My savings, my house, and every financial decision would now reflect one simple rule. Respect comes before inheritance. Next, I called a local moving company. By evening, my dining room looked completely different. The large family table was gone. In its place stood a single beautifully prepared table set for one person. Every family photograph had been packed away except one picture of my late wife smiling beside me. The moving company also delivered several boxes labeled charity donations. Inside were many expensive kitchen appliances and decorations I had planned to give my son one day. That day would never come. I prepared my favorite dinner. Not theirs, mine. Exactly at 6 o'clock the doorbell rang. Just like every Sunday. Without waiting, they walked inside carrying empty containers ready to take leftovers home. Then they froze. Emily gasped. My son stared around the room, unable to understand what had happened. "Where is the big table?" he asked. I smiled. "Gone." "Where is dinner for everyone?" "There is no everyone tonight." Emily looked confused. "What do you mean?" I invited myself to a peaceful evening. My son laughed nervously. "Very funny, Dad. Now where is the food?" I pointed to the single plate. "Right there." "For me?" Silence filled the room. Then he noticed the missing photographs, the packed boxes, the legal folder resting on the table. His expression changed immediately. "Dad, what is all this?" I calmly explained everything. My paycheck would remain under my control. My finances would remain private. Anyone who believed they were entitled to my money without earning my trust would receive nothing. Emily became angry first. She accused me of overreacting. She claimed they only wanted to help. I asked one simple question. If your own parents demanded your paycheck every month, would you call that help? Neither of them answered. My son tried another approach. He reminded me of everything parents owe their children. I nodded. Parents owe children love, guidance, protection, and opportunity. Children owe parents respect. Without respect, every relationship eventually falls apart. His eyes filled with tears. For the first time that evening, his confidence disappeared. He realized this conversation was never about money. It was about gratitude. I handed him a sealed envelope. Inside was a copy of my updated estate plan. One paragraph stood out. Any inheritance would depend entirely on maintaining a relationship based on mutual respect, kindness, and independence rather than financial expectations. Emily read it twice. She looked stunned. My son sat quietly for several minutes. Finally, he whispered something I had waited years to hear. "I am sorry, Dad." Not because he feared losing money, but because he finally understood what his words had done. Real trust takes time to rebuild. Over the following months, they stopped asking for financial help. Instead, they started visiting simply to spend time together. Sometimes we drank coffee. Sometimes we watched old family videos. Sometimes we laughed about memories that had nothing to do with money. 1 year later, my son surprised me with dinner at my favorite restaurant. When the bill arrived, he quietly paid it without saying a word. On the way home, he apologized once again. This time, I believed him. Families are not built on paychecks. They are built on respect. Money can disappear overnight. Character stays forever. If someone sees you only for what you can provide, they never truly saw you at all. The greatest gift any parent can leave behind is not wealth. It is the example that self-respect should never be traded for anyone's approval. If this story touched your heart, remember one important lesson. Love your family, but never surrender your dignity. Helping the people you love is a gift. Being treated like an obligation is not. Respect is worth more than any paycheck because money can be earned again, but self-respect once lost is much harder to recover. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who believes family should always be built on love and respect, and leave a comment telling us what you would have done in this situation.